Good evening and welcome to Cycle. On this program, we will give you the latest news and updates on Mongolian economy and political news. I'm Anurgan Batar. China and Mongolia are expecting to strengthen cooperation in epidemic prevention and resolutely block the cross-border spread of COVID-19, according to a meeting between the two diplomats of the two countries on Thursday. The Director General of the Department of Asian Affairs of China's Foreign Ministry, Liu Jinsong, met with the Mongolian ambassador to China, Tufshin Batatl, on Thursday to exchange opinions on China-Mongolia relations, cooperation on the fight against COVID-19, and regional and international issues of mutual interest. China attaches great importance to its relations with Mongolia as the two nations are friendly neighbors with a shared future, the Director General of the Department of Asian Affairs of China's Foreign Ministry, Liu Jinsong, said, adding that the frequent high-level exchanges between the two nations this year have led to a sound momentum of development in bilateral relations. It is expected that two nations will actively implement the consensus reached by the leaders of the two countries and push forward for the development of bilateral relations. Since the pandemic situation across the world is still complex and severe, China persists in taking strict measures to prevent imported cases that might cause flare-ups at home. It is expected that China and Mongolia will strengthen cooperation, meet each other's halfway, earnestly implement prevention and control measures, and resolutely block cross-border spread of the virus, Liu said, noting that China is willing to cooperate with Mongolia in the fight against COVID-19 and provide help to develop the economy and improve the people's livelihood in Mongolia. Mongolia also attaches great importance to its relations with China and hopes to deepen friendship and mutually beneficial cooperation, Batra said, noting that Mongolia is sincerely grateful for the support it received from China in alleviating problems in Mongolia and fighting against the epidemic. Mongolia is ready to take strict and effective measures and adhere to standards to work with China in epidemic prevention, in addition to ensure the safe and stable operation of ports in both countries. The President of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, recalled that the agreement inked in Moscow on November 5, 1921, was the first act of international recognition of the modern Mongolian statehood and created conditions for building truly friendly, good neighborly bilateral relations. Increased cooperation between Russia and Mongolia will boost peace, security and stability in the Eurasian continent, Russian President Vladimir Putin said in a message of greetings to Mongolian President Khursokhna on the occasion of the centennial of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The Russian president emphasized that two countries' relations are developing as a comprehensive strategic partnership. Putin's message was read out at a reception held at the Shangri-La Hotel in Ulaanbaatar on November 12. Please accept my sincere congratulations on the momentous anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our countries, the message reads. I am confident that further enhancement of the constructive and multifaceted Russian-Mongolian cooperation fully meets the interest of our friendly nations and goes in line with the consolidation of peace, security and stability in the Eurasian continent, it says. We have effectively coordinated our efforts in addressing pressing regional issues, the president said. Additionally, he wished good health and success to the Mongolian president and well-being and prosperity to the people of Mongolia. The reception was attended by the Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyrtantov, Russian Federation Council Vice Speaker Konstantin Kosachev, and the Russian Ambassador to Mongolia, Alexander Azizov. Steppe Gold Limited has announced that it has reached an agreement for up to $65 million in debt capital to fast-track its phase 2 construction of the ATO gold mine. Of the total of $65 million in loans, $170 billion MNT, or approximately $59.7 million has been funded through the Gold 2 National Program, facilitated through the Central Bank of Mongolia. The 2021 Gold 2 loan proceeds were advanced during the third quarter of the Steppe Gold by the Trade and Development Bank of Mongolia. The 2021 Gold 2 loan is a special-purpose covenant-light loan with a 3-year term at 9% interest and full prepayment rights without penalty. All interest amounts are paid monthly. Drawdown of the loan proceeds will commence on completion of registration of the security expected later this month. Furthermore, the company has reached an agreement for an additional $5 million for allocation to working capital to be funded directly from the Trade and Development Bank of Mongolia in the form of a prepaid gold sales loan. The TDBM gold loan will be repaid over a period of 12 months based on gold sales, with the repayments in cash equivalent at Mongol Bank gold prices. With its Phase 2 expansion headline numbers announced on October 27th and construction already commenced on the expanded crushing circuit of the company will now allocate the proceeds of the gold to loan to fast-track the construction of the Phase 2 expansion project. Batatum Rocher, the president and CEO of Steppe Gold, commented, "Following the recent completion of the feasibility study for the Phase 2 expansion of the ATO gold mine, we are now very proud to announce this landmark 65 million financing package. With over 170 billion MNT in funding from the Central Bank of Mongolia, Steppe Gold has cemented its position as Mongolia's premier precious metals group. The company is highly encouraged by the trust placed in us by leading Mongolian financial institutions. This is a tremendous vote of support for Steppe Gold, for the Mongolian mining industry, and will add value to Mongolia's export revenue and foreign reserves position. The Phase 2 expansion will generate an additional 300 jobs and further solidify our role as one of the largest investors and employers in the region. The Phase 2 expansion has all major permits to fast-track the development as construction of the expanded crushing circuit is nearing completion." While Steppe Gold has faced significant headwinds from COVID-19 lockdowns, border closing and supply chain issues, the company continued full-scale mining and stacking operations in 2021. As of November 1st, Steppe Gold has a total of 2.2 million tons of ore stacked on the leach and ROM pads, with approximately 45,000 ounces of gold recoverable in the short term. Steppe Gold has noted that 100% of its suppliers are Mongolian and 99% of employees are Mongolian nationals. Within the framework of its social responsibility agenda, the company commenced a scholarship program providing financial support to over 1,000 students since 2017. Mongolia will train at least 1,000 consultants on tree planting to combat climate change and desertification, President Hursulkhona said last week. The president of Mongolia, who has recently initiated a national tree planting campaign called Billion Trees, aimed at planting 1 billion trees by 2030, made the remarks during a national conference on forestry. Up to 21 major mining companies in Mongolia have recently signed a deal to plant a total of 608.5 million trees by 2030, and authorities of the country's capital, Ulaanbaatar city, and all 21 provinces have pledged to plant 680 million trees in the coming 9 years, said the presidential press office. The skilled human resource in any sector is the key driver of the sector's development. Therefore, at least 1,000 trainers to give advice on planting trees will be trained as part of the national tree planting campaign in the near future, said President of Mongolia Hursulkhona. Citizens, companies, as well as governmental and non-governmental organizations across the country have joined the national campaign. Mongolia has a total land area of 1,564,116 square kilometers, but less than 8% is covered by forests. Around 77% of the country's total territory has been affected by desertification and land degradation, according to the country's Ministry of Environment and Tourism. Over 10 uranium deposits have been discovered in Mongolia so far, with about 160,000 tons of confirmed reserves. Up to 1 million tons of uranium might be in reserve in Mongolia if explored. If the amount of resources are confirmed, there will be an opportunity to establish a nuclear power plant in Mongolia, highlighted Dr. Tikhshvair during a meeting organized by the Mon Atom state-owned company under the theme Opportunity and Risk of Resources. Highlighting that a kilogram of uranium is able to produce the same amount of power produced by 1 million kilograms of coal, Dr. Tikhshvair underlined the importance of involving professionals and experts and viewing the matter from a scientific perspective due to its high risks. He then continued to say Mongolia has prepared physicists and those specialized in nuclear energy and radioactivity for over 60 years. By involving more of the Mongolian youth in specializations in the area of physics and chemistry, it will become possible to introduce technological advancements in the production of power with the use of high-risk uranium. While countries such as Australia, Canada, the US, and Niger lead the world in uranium resources, Mongolia ranks first in Asia and 12th in the world with about 70,000 metric tons of uranium. Thus, it aims putting the resources into economic circulation, and the project has started to be implemented. In its framework, a company named Patrikh Energy that runs operations at the Tsovch-Owo deposit in Ulaanbaatar Som, Dorngobi province, is carrying out experimental operations to mine 25 kg of uranium daily, reported CEO of Mon Atom LLC Datla Jargal. As the company is currently ensuring preparations to operate at full capacity, it will become to mine 8,000 kg of uranium each day from next year, highlighted the company's representative Mark Mellard. If the level of operations is reached, amendments will be made to the feasibility study and an investment agreement will be established with the government. Regarding the environmental impact, CEO of Monatom Datlajargal noted that assessments are consistently conducted on whether uranium exploration activities are negatively affecting the environment, local people and livestock animals, with the involvement of professional organizations such as the General Agency for Specialized Inspection and the Institute of Veterinary Medicine. The French state-owned Areva Group began to carry out exploration of uranium in Mongolia through its subsidiary Kokobi from 1996. As a result of the exploration activities continuously carried out by the company for the last 10 years in Ulaanbaatar-Som Dorngobi province, 54,390 metric tons of uranium have been discovered at Zovjawa deposit, with 6,270 metric tons of uranium at Ototlaol deposit. 34% of the aforementioned deposits, which make up half of the country's total uranium resources, are owned by the state-owned Monatom company, while 66% is jointly owned by the French state-owned Orano Mining Group and the Mitsubishi Corporation of Japan. As the company has completed the construction of pilot plant this year, it is planned to establish an investment agreement in 2021. With the agreement, it will become possible for Mongolia to mine and export uranium. Russia will resume air services with Mongolia, Argentina, Brazil, Bangladesh and Costa Rica, as well as lift restrictions on regular and non-scheduled flights to Cuba, Mexico and Qatar starting from December 1st, the Anti-Coronavirus Crisis Center told reporters last Tuesday. 3 flights per week to the Mongolian capital of Ulaanbaatar from Moscow and 1 flight each from Ulaanbaatar, Krasnoyarsk and Irkutsk are planned to begin from December 1st. Following the discussion and considering the epidemiological environment in certain countries, it was decided to lift restrictions on regular and non-scheduled flights between Russia and Cuba, Mexico, Qatar starting December 1st, 2021, the Anti-Coronavirus Crisis Center said. 2 flights per week will be performed to Argentina and Brazil between Moscow and Buenos Aires, as well as Moscow and Rio de Janeiro, and 2 flights per week have been permitted to launch at Costa Rica between Moscow and San Jose. 2 flights per week are planned to Bangladesh between Moscow and Dhaka. Russia has resumed air services with 71 countries since the beginning of the pandemic. The 9th meeting of the Mongolia-Turkey Intergovernmental Trade and Economic Commission was organized in Ankara, Turkey on November 15th through 16th. State Secretary of the Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry, Tambal Tsering, Director of the Department of the International Law and Treaty of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sukhol, and other officials took part in the meeting co-chaired by the Minister of Defense of Mongolia, Sakhanbayir. The meeting discussed in detail the proposals to increase trade and investments and expand economic cooperation between 2 countries in the sectors of agriculture and tourism, as well as in free zone management and transportation, and agreements were reached. The first Intergovernmental Joint Committees meeting took place in Ankara in 1994. The sides are attaching great significance to the 9th meeting, which had been postponed due to the pandemic. They are discussing ways to expand cooperation in social and economic sectors. A delegation led by Defense Minister Sakhanbayir met with the Minister of Trade of Turkey, Mehmet Muz, and agreed to pay attention to intensifying economic relations, increasing trade and supporting business partnerships between Mongolia and Turkey, and to set up a bilateral working group. Moreover, Minister Sakhanbayir held an official meeting with his Turkish counterpart, Hulusi Akar, to discuss at length bilateral relations in defense. They agreed to continue the assistance provided to Mongolia under the Agreement on Military Financial Cooperation. At the meeting, Defense Minister signed a memorandum to cooperate in military history, archives, museums, and publication fields. Moreover, co-chairs of the Commission, the Minister of Defense of Mongolia, Sakhanbayir, and Turkish Minister of the Interior, Süleyman Soylu, signed a protocol at the end of the meeting. On November 12, President of Mongolia, Khor-Sokhna, held a reception for a delegation led by the President of the International Boxing Federation, Omar Kremlov. Kremlov proposed to hold a major international boxing tournament in Mongolia, as well as establish a boxing academy in the country. Kremlov stated that he plans to implement a number of joint projects and programs with the Mongolian Boxing Association. Mr. Kremlov expressed in a proposal to hold a major international boxing tournament in Mongolia and open a boxing academy in the country. He noted that AIBA plans to implement a number of joint projects and programs with the Mongolian Boxing Federation. President of Mongolia, Khor-Sokhna, said that he would support any initiative which would develop boxing, one of the top 4 sports in Mongolia. During his one-day visit to the country, the AIBA president met with athletes, trainers, and coaches of the national team, as well as juniors training in boxing. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the head of the country, Hurtsuhokhna, the Mongolian Boxing Federation, and the Ministry of Sports for their constant support of global sport and boxing in particular. Popularization of a healthy lifestyle among the younger generation should be one of the prerogatives of the government of each country, Kremlov claimed. Mongolia has all necessary conditions to host major sport events at the international level, starting from venues, arenas, and accommodation opportunities, AIB president added. We would support any and all initiatives which would serve at the development of boxing, notably one of the top 4 sports in Mongolia. I am glad that AIBA and the Mongolian Boxing Federations have such a close professional relationship and ambitions that align, the president of Mongolia stressed. The president of the International Boxing Federation met with the athletes, teachers, and coaches of the national team and children involved in boxing across Mongolia. Also, Kremlov, together with officials of Mongolian Boxing Federation and Mr. Hishke, member of the parliament and Minister of Justice and Home Affairs of Mongolia, visited several sports venues and held multiple joint discussions and planning sessions. Well, that's all for this cycle. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.